You're trying to eat healthy. You've switched to whole foods, you're hitting the gym, you're paying attention to what goes into your body. But there's a persistent whisper online, a growing fear that a silent killer is hiding in plain sight, in your salad dressings, your restaurant meals, even your healthy snacks. I'm talking about seed oils. You've heard the names: canola, soybean, sunflower, grapeseed oil. The internet has labeled them toxic, industrial sludge, and the root cause of chronic inflammation, obesity, and heart disease. You've been told to avoid them at all costs, to purge them from your kitchen like a poison. But what if I told you that this widespread panic, this demonization of an entire category of food, is based on a fundamental misunderstanding of human biology? What if the very advice you're following to protect your health is actually unnecessary, and in some cases, counterproductive? By the end of this video, you will understand the real science of fats, the truth about omega-6, and the exact evidence-based protocol for choosing the right oils for your health, without the fear-mongering. Welcome to The Better Habit, where we dismantle health myths with science so you can build a truly optimized life. So how did we get here? How did a simple cooking ingredient become public enemy number one? The story really begins in the mid-20th century. After World War II, concerns about dietary fat and heart disease were on the rise. Animal fats like butter and lard, which are high in saturated fat, were pinpointed as the primary villains. This led to a massive public health push to replace saturated fats with something else. Enter vegetable and seed oils. They were rich in polyunsaturated fats, which early research suggested could be a heart-healthy alternative. Food manufacturers loved them. They were cheap to produce, had a neutral flavor, and a long shelf life, making them perfect for mass-produced processed foods. This is where the narrative started to shift. These oils went from being a niche health food store item to being absolutely everywhere. They were in margarines, baked goods, chips, and used as the primary frying oil in fast food chains. Their consumption skyrocketed. Then, in the late 20th and early 21st centuries, the wellness world began to connect the dots. As chronic diseases like obesity and diabetes climbed, so did seed oil consumption. The correlation seemed obvious. Influencers and health gurus began pointing to the high omega-6 fatty acid content in these oils, specifically linoleic acid, claiming it was inherently pro-inflammatory. The idea that we were swapping one dietary devil, saturated fat, for another, industrial seed oils, took hold and spread like wildfire online. It was a simple, compelling story with a clear villain. But our bodies are never that simple. To understand what's really going on, we need a quick science lesson. And they are essential. That means our bodies can't make them. We have to get them from our diet. Think of your body as a construction site. You need different raw materials to build and maintain everything. Omega-3 and omega-6 are two of those crucial materials. Now here's the metaphor. Imagine omega-6 and omega-3 are two different teams of emergency responders in your body. The omega-6 team is like the first response paramedic unit. When you get an injury, like a cut, you need them to rush to the scene. They create inflammation, which is the body's essential first step for healing. It walls off the area, fights potential invaders, and signals for repair. This type of short-term acute inflammation is vital. Without it, a paper cut could become a life-threatening infection. The omega-3 team is like the cleanup and repair crew that comes in after the initial emergency. They produce anti-inflammatory compounds that tell the first responders, okay, the initial threat is handled, you can stand down now. They calm the situation, reduce the swelling, and help rebuild the tissue. You need both teams working in harmony. You need the initial inflammatory response, and you need the subsequent anti-inflammatory cleanup. The myth of seed oil toxicity comes from the idea that because we consume so much omega-6 from seed oils, our paramedic team is constantly on high alert, creating chronic low-grade inflammation all over the body, even when there's no emergency. This, in theory, exhausts the cleanup crew and leads to the chronic diseases we all fear. It sounds logical. But here's the critical piece that the online narrative misses. The body is incredibly smart. It doesn't just automatically turn all the dietary omega-6 you eat into inflammatory signals. It's a highly regulated process. Your body only converts a tiny fraction of the linoleic acid from seed oils into the pro-inflammatory compound, arachidonic acid. It's not a runaway train. It's a carefully controlled assembly line. This is where the scientific consensus begins to diverge sharply from the online panic. While test tube and animal studies can show that high levels of certain omega-6 derivatives are inflammatory, human studies tell a very different story. When scientists conduct randomized controlled trials, the gold standard of evidence where they replace saturated fats with omega-6 rich vegetable oils, they don't see an increase in inflammatory markers in the blood. In fact, many of these large-scale human trials show the opposite. A landmark meta-analysis published in the journal Circulation reviewed numerous high-quality trials. The conclusion? Swapping saturated fats for polyunsaturated fats from oils like soybean and canola either had a neutral effect or, more often than not, actually lowered the risk of cardiovascular events. The data from actual human beings just doesn't support the idea that eating seed oils within a balanced diet causes systemic inflammation. The problem isn't the oil itself. It's the package it comes in. A handful of walnuts and a deep-fried donut both contain omega-6, but their effect on your body couldn't be more different. The ultra-processed foods that are often made with seed oils are the real culprits, loaded with refined flour, sugar, and artificial additives that independently drive inflammation and disease. Demonizing the oil is like blaming the tires for a car crash caused by a drunk driver. So let's build the perfect protocol. This isn't about fear. It's about smart choices. The goal is not to eliminate omega-6, but to build a healthy fat profile. Step 1. Prioritize whole food fats. The majority of your fats should come from whole foods. This means avocados, nuts like walnuts and almonds, seeds like chia and flax, and fatty fish like salmon and sardines. These foods provide fats in their natural matrix, bundled with fiber, vitamins, and minerals that support your overall health. Make these the foundation of your fat intake. Step 2. Choose your cooking oils wisely. For high-heat cooking like searing or stir-frying, use oils with a high smoke point. Avocado oil is a fantastic choice. For lower-heat sautéing and general-purpose cooking, olive oil, particularly extra virgin olive oil, is the king. It's rich in monounsaturated fats and polyphenols that are incredibly beneficial. Canola oil, despite the controversy, is also a good option for a neutral, affordable cooking oil, as it's low in saturated fat and has a decent smoke point. There is no strong evidence to avoid it. The key is how you use it. Do not reuse your cooking oil over and over, as this can create harmful compounds. Use it once, then discard it. Step 3. Minimize ultra-processed foods. This is the single most important step. Read the labels on packaged snacks, frozen meals, and commercial baked goods. If the ingredient list is a paragraph long and full of things you can't pronounce, that's your red flag. It's not the soybean oil in your bag of chips that's the main issue. It's the entire, hyper-palatable, nutrient-poor package. By focusing on cooking at home with whole ingredients, you will naturally and drastically reduce your intake of the low-quality foods where seed oils are most prevalent. If you work shifts or have a busy schedule, meal prepping with whole food ingredients is your superpower. Cook a batch of chicken, roast some vegetables in olive oil, and have quinoa ready to go. To wrap this all up, let's be clear. 1. Seed oils are not industrial sludge or inherently toxic. The idea that they directly cause chronic inflammation in humans is not supported by high-quality evidence. 2. The problem isn't the oil but the package. The health risks associated with seed oils come from their inclusion in ultra-processed, nutrient-poor foods, not from using them to cook a healthy meal at home. And 3. Your focus should be on building a healthy overall dietary pattern. Prioritize fats from whole foods like avocados, nuts, seeds, and fish. Use stable oils like olive and avocado oil for cooking. And most importantly, dramatically reduce your consumption of ultra-processed junk. You have the power to take control of your health by looking past the fear and focusing on the science. Your body is not a fragile system waiting to be broken. It's a resilient, intelligent machine. Give it the right fuel and it will thrive. If you're ready to replace health anxiety with actionable science, subscribe to the channel for more. And if you want to learn about the one supplement that can have the biggest impact on your brain health, check out this next video right here. Thanks for watching.